66 days on leap year. Anyways, like I was saying, Trans Lifeline is a great organization, a grassroots hotline and microgrants 501c3 that offers direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis. They are truly for the trans community by the trans community. There are some really cool ways that you can help shape our game, and that is by donating on our Tiltify. And I have put that not only in our Twitch, in our YouTube, but I'm actually getting ready to drop it into our TikTok chat as well. When you're on our TikTok, you'll see that if you donate $10 or more, you can gift a reroll to any player on screen. For a gift of $25 or more, you can gift an auto success to any player on screen. For a $35 gift or more, this is my favorite one, you can make anyone roll on the Wild Magic Surge table and ensue chaos. For a $50 donation or more, you can gift a Bane or a Boon to the party, and for a $75 donation or more, you can name the next NPC quite literally whatever you want, as long as it's not like a slur or something. So, with that being said, for every $10 you donate to Trans Lifeline, you get entered into a drawing to win gift cards to Heartbeat Dice, because we're all dice goblins and we need more dice. You can also win one of 3 candles from Pack Pizzles Candles. If I wasn't moving right now, I would hold my candles up. They smell delightful. They're all based on classes and they're absolutely fantastic. So, with that being said, I'm almost to the end of my spiel, I promise. Tonight we are playing coming out of Mimiclandia, which is a Pride-themed adventure from our friends at Little Cord, the makers of the Mimicnomic Con. Friends, my name is Jess. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. And again, I am thrilled that you are joining us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Dan to introduce themselves.
Hello, hi, I am Dan, aka Dan the Baker, pronouns they/he. I'm very excited to be a part of this and raise some money for Trans Lifeline. Thank you for having me.
And Popcorn.
I'll go to Eli.
Oh, hi, hello. My name is Eli. I go by any and all pronouns. I am playing your favorite Cowboy Kenku shotgun rack tonight. Yeah. Lev.
Hi, I'm Lev. My pronouns are they, them. And tonight I am playing PJ or Pyrex Juice, they, he. Your favorite little ranger guy. All right. Popcorn, Trevor.
Once I get used to this push to talk thing, now it works. Hi, I'm Trevor. Pronouns are he, him, and chaotically bisexual. Tonight I'm also known as Tattoos and Bones, and tonight I am playing Ricochet, a little grung monk.
And by process of elimination, we come to me. My name is Brent. Pronouns are he, they, and I am going to be your game master this evening.
I did forget to say that the character I'm playing the satyr Wingrigo Shurg, aka Winnie. Their name is an anagram of my favorite composer, so if you can figure that out, I'll give you a psychic high five.
I didn't forget. I just didn't want to tell y'all yet. You can hear about them narratively later. All right, let's start this adventure, shall we?
I mean, I guess we've come all this way. All right. Well, normally, we might start in the middle of a battle or the middle of some sort of challenge or things like that. But tonight we're starting in rest. You are all between battles, between adventures, and you find yourselves after a night's rest, getting up in the morning and coming down for breakfast. Who amongst you is the most likely to come down first?
PJ's a pretty naturally early riser.
Okay. So PJ, where did you all rest for the evening?
I think we found this kind of rundown little tavern. Not a ton of rooms. Not super nice, but there was a room and it was enough space for all of us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you come downstairs. The innkeeper slash tavern keeper, is also just sort of like, obviously stretching themselves awake and getting, and turns to you and says, "Breakfast."
Oh yes, please. I'd like if you have any kind of like roots or vegetables, that'd be great for me. And any kind of meats you can, if you don't have to cook them for him. And they kind of gesture up to the little kind of like Drake looking thing on their shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think we've got, I can put together like a fruit bowl or something, and I think we got some like leftover bacon ends for your friend there. So just one moment. Who else is gonna? Who else is? Who would be next? Who is the next earliest riser? Do you think?
I think Winnie would probably be right after PJ. Like as
Okay.
soon as they heard someone else up and about, they would stir and be like, "Oh, it's time to make an entrance," and follow PJ downstairs.
I love it. Waiting for the sounds of the audience. Well, it's the tavern keeper and PJ. That is your audience. What is your entrance?
I think Winnie fully like they don't walk down the stairs, they descend down the stairs with a wide gesture to the two people here. Says, "Good morning, fellow travelers on this here planet we call home. Is that the smell of bacon I smell? Shall we eat?"
Morning, Winnie. Go
Good
say good morning.
PJ.
That they say to this little Drake, and it kind of flutters over to you and cocks its head.
I give it like a little under chin scritchy. And good morning to you too. What is the little Drake's name?
Gore.
And good morning to you, Gore.
It kind of just makes a little noise and nips at your finger. Oh, stop that! Come back. Sorry, we're practicing. We're practicing. Sorry.
It wasn't a full bite this time. That's good. That's good. And Winnie is now come and like sat at a table, and has, if there's like a self-service coffee bar, as I assume there is here for some reason, they have poured themselves like a cup of black coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. The bacon has only just started, so actually it's the smell of coffee that is the most overpowering at the moment. And I mean overpowering in a good way, of course, as a longtime coffee drinker. Yeah, you sit yourself down. The tavern keeper comes over with a fruit bowl and slides it across to you, PJ, and then has like it actually looks like a pet dish full of just like bacon scraps and odds and ends of meat, the offcuts and things like that.
He doesn't like pet bowls. I'm really sorry. He's a little
Oh,
you can just give me like a saucer or something and that'll make the difference. If he sees like a pet name on it, he gets like weird. And I'm like covering his eyes. It's okay.
The innkeeper's like,
proud.
yeah, sure. Just one second. He sort of reaches over. There's like a plate that was left on one of the tables next to you. And he just quickly grabs it, gives it a wipe off with his apron, and then like dumps the contents of the pet bowl onto the plate and
That's
sets
perfect.
it down
Thank
on
you
the
so
table.
much. And I
No
pass
problem.
this over.
The innkeeper at that point does sort of go in for, is he friendly? And
Sometimes you're kind of, if you want to like give him a piece of food, that's a great move to get him to like you. That's the only one I found so far that he does like.
so like feeding a horse, flat hands. All right.
For sure.
Innkeeper puts like a piece of meat on the palm and then flat hands towards Gore.
Nips at it a little too harsh. Definitely gets like
Ow.
a little bit of skin. Sorry. Sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
I pass him another silver.
That's okay. He got mostly callous.
Okay, that still doesn't feel great, though. I appreciate it.
All right. Who would be next?
At this point, there's a commotion in the kitchen, and
Okay.
Rico, this little like 3-foot tall black and yellow grung, walks out. He says, "Oh nope, sorry about that. Oh, by the way, you may want to rinse out the bucket that I was using last night outside. Grungs are a little bit sticky." And he's still wiping himself off, but he's leaving these little wet footprints on the floor as he walks to the table. "Hello, Winnie. Hello, Gore. Hello, PJ.
Morning, Rico.
Good morning, Rico.
How was everybody last night? I didn't hear any snoring or anything from being outside through the window, so I'm assuming everybody got good rest."
Fitful, one might say.
I had a thought. I am very wise. And my thought was, have you ever wondered how much cities weigh?
Like, are you talking? Okay, where does the city end? Is the big question, because like, does it go down into the ground underneath the city? And if it goes down into the ground underneath the city, how deep under the ground does it go? And are we talking about all the people, or are we just talking about the city physically itself with all the animals in it, or none of the animals in it? That's a lot of specifics. Wait, Winnie's doing math. Winnie knows.
Probably a lot.
That's what I was thinking. It's just one of those, interesting, philosophical questions. Me being, one who has been teaching and who has been taught and very wise in different temples, monk monasteries, that very big, heavy things are always just so heavy, like thoughts or large minotaurs.
Now, Rico, I have a question for you. If a city has, for instance, some sort of tunnels like catacombs or sewers beneath it, is it heavier because it goes deeper, or lighter because those are hollow?
Oh, it's a good question. And some cities fly, so perhaps they have a whole lot of tunnels and everything. You fill them with air and make them go up.
Perhaps.
Man, I never thought I'd meet anyone this smart, and now there's 2 people this smart? This is incredible. I feel like I should be taking notes or something.
Here, you can use mine. And he unravels this kind of just misshapen, crinkled, tied with a string collection of slightly thick pieces of vellum. And there are childlike scrawls, words spelled backwards, just like a child has been drawing all over it, and it makes no sense. And he hands you a little piece of charcoal. It's like, hello, you could actually, take some notes maybe. Take a page. It's okay.
Are you sure? This is a lot of I don't even understand all of this.
Oh, I don't either. Some of it I don't even remember writing down, but I think I wrote it. I'm not quite sure.
Well, you must be like a prophet or have some kind of like oracular abilities. I've heard people can do that.
Or what?
Or oracular. It means you can like see the future, like know things that other people don't know. Am I saying that right, Winnie?
You sure are. Like, for instance, right now, I can predict that shotgun rack will be coming down the stairs in 3, 2... No? Oh.
Well,
okay.
now it's
Never
funny
mind.
that you say that, because it's actually me, Sweet G, and you see a very small femme-presenting goblin wearing a brown leather jacket with a flower crown and just a mischievous look on her face. And she says, "Now, it smells like we're having bacon, but I don't know, I thought pancakes might be good. What were y'all thinking?"
I have some fruit you can share.
Well, that is close to pancakes, but not quite. But you know what, PJ? You are, bless your heart, thank you so much. What kind of fruit?
Looks like there's some melons, some berries of some kind. I think there's like a stone fruit in here too, so if you're allergic, be careful. I didn't really ask. They just kind of gave me some fruit. You can also have some of, well, Gore's not great at sharing, but maybe when Gore's done, if you want some of their leftovers, you're welcome to those too.
I think that I'll let Gore eat their leftovers, and I don't. And I'm gonna look at Gore and see him munching down on it, and just kind of like turn up my nose just a little bit. But thank you so much, PJ. I really appreciate it.
We can inquire with the tavern keeper, see if they could whip up some pancakes of some sorts for you. It's possible they have that here.
You're so right, Winnie. And Sweet G is just gonna walk right on up and kind of put their hands, their elbows down at the bar, put their hands right under and say, "Hey there, I have a hankering for some pancakes, and you look like just the person that could help me with that."
I sure can. Pancakes coming right up. Pancakes for everyone.
Pancakes, everyone?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
No, thank you. I made a new
I'll
pot of
take one.
fly paste.
Fly paste.
Okay.
That sounds
Rico.
delicious.
Dips his finger into this little kind of earthenware jar and just like, no, it's really good. If you want to spread some on your pancakes, just let me know.
How
Could
nice
I,
of you
could I dip
for
this
offering.
melon in there?
Oh, sure. It's a little sticky and it tastes like dirt, but it should be okay.
I've had dirt before. It's not that bad.
At this point, I'd have to look at the DM and go, Grung's skin is toxic, and he's been sticking his fingers in this for probably the past months. So, your rule.
Does PJ have any poison resistance or?
I don't think so. They're a tiefling. I realized I didn't describe PJ. They're a tiefling. They've got some like plummy purple skin and some like long peach hair, horns that kind of curve up to the back. I don't think there's anything about poison resistance in there though.
So I'm going to say, go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw then, and I am going to say that whatever the normal effects of Rico's poison are, they have been somewhat tempered by being mixed in with, I'm assuming, pasted flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Flies, dirt, water, a little bit of cornstarch.
yeah. So that's you don't want
I
your
got
poison getting
17.
like thin and runny. What'd you get? Sorry.
17.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a percentile die for me, please.
My standard DC is 12, but who knows what the paste did to it.
This is Winnie's face this whole time.
How much? Sorry.
67.
67.
Two
all
away
right.
from nice.
Mhm.
I know.
It's really
65.
weird. So you dip your piece of melon into this paste, and it does. It is. Rico did not oversell this at all. It does taste like dirt and flies, and you're assuming like maybe the tang is the poison, but you don't feel sick. You do start to feel a little stretched though, and the rest of you who are in the room, perhaps this is when Shotgun Rack comes down the stairs, and you're greeted to the sight of PJ stretching, like growing in height. PJ, you are now, when you stop growing, you are 5 inches taller than you were previously.
Yeah, I think what you guys hear down the stairs is the sound of like spurs walking down and just the chink, 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 chink. And as Shotgun comes down the stairs, you see this desperado-looking Kenku with a long duster and a cowboy hat, and they just keep chinking along until they get to the last open chair, and then they sit down. They take their hat off to greet everybody. put it back on, and they'll probably notice that PJ is a lot taller than they have been, and they'll just kind of look up at PJ and just make this sound of na 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 before grabbing
You
like
guys
coffee
look a
cup.
lot smaller.
Rico's just staring, just like, I wish that would happen to me.
Maybe you're immune to it. Maybe because it's your. That was super interesting, by the way. Thank you so much. Maybe not anymore for me though. I'm full.
Okay. Hey, Shotgun, do you want some fly paste? Maybe you will grow too.
I think Shotgun kind of like contemplates it for a minute, shakes his head no, but starts making the sound of like sizzling bacon and eggs, and even like the sound of a pancake being flipped for what they would like for breakfast.
The innkeeper is working on that for us.
Yeah.
Shotgun rack.
And in fact, after a few moments, the innkeeper comes back out carrying 2 armloads of platters with bacon and pancakes and with bread and cheese and some more fruit, and lays it all out on the table for you. And then goes back and gets you your morning ales. And sets those out, and you proceed to have breakfast.
At this point, oh, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
As Winnie has summoned an unseen servant and handed it their loot, and has the unseen servant play music for them for breakfast, as they do every morning.
Right.
Now, that's a real nice little ditty. Do they know a lot of them, or do they know what you know? I don't know how that one works. I haven't learned it yet.
They know some of what I know, but not as good as I can play it.
No, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Do you have a request, or?
What sounds fun? I don't know. Do they know any Chappelle Rowan?
Ah, yes. Winnie claps, and it's a lute version of "Hot to Go." Starts playing. Like, yeah.
Excellent. You know, if they could hold coin, I might actually consider giving them some, but I know they just put it in your pocket, so I'm going to hold on to it.
And I would probably give it back to you at that point, so it would be rather cyclical.
That sounds kind of fun. I do like spending money, but I do like getting money back, so we'll consider it, maybe at a later time.
Yeah. All right. So as all of you continue eating breakfast and Winnie loots the room, Winnie, after like about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of eating breakfast, you hear a little thump behind you.
Oh, then they turn around to see what the thump was.
Yeah, you look down and you see that your silver pitch pipe is on the ground, sort of like behind your seat, as if it had fallen out of a pocket.
Oh, that's one moment. They'll like, it's hard for them to bend down the way they're sitting in the seat because they are. I don't think I said they are satyr. I might have said.
Yeah.
You probably could have told by the fact that I'm wearing horns. And they try and bend down and grab it.
Okay. As you bend down and grab it, it's the strangest thing. As you reach towards it, it slides like just a couple of inches away from you, just out of grasp.
I fully now get up out of my seat, and I'm just gonna like start chasing after this.
Yeah, as you reach for it a second time, this little silver pseudopod reaches out of your pitch pipe and just sort of goes and slaps your hand away.
Winnie fully is like frozen at this moment and goes,
and then reverts back into like it looks like a normal pitch pipe.
Friends, there's something strange going on.
Shotgun pulls out one of their big pistols from their hip ready to use it.
I believe there is a creature taking up residence in my sister's pitch pipe.
What kind of creature?
Go ahead and roll a perception check for me, Winnie.
Perception.
Yes, please.
That is 17.
Excellent. The little pseudopod that came out did not come from inside the pitch pipe. It extruded from the pitch pipe itself. Like a part of the pitch pipe stretched itself out, slapped your hand away, and then pulled back in.
Scratch that. I believe my sister's pitch pipe is revolting.
I mean, how often do you clean it? Anyway, as when he says this, PJ, you hear a similar thump behind you.
Huh? I'll look around.
Yeah, you look around, you see the smooth little rock with the hole in the center. Is like, when you look at it, it's stationary, and as you continue to look at it, it like slowly starts like moving, just sort of seemingly randomly. It just starts like jittering around a little bit.
That's a wild coincidence, because my rock is also revolting. And it all cut off the leather cord. How did it do that? That's wild.
Everyone should check their small sentimental objects they keep on their persons.
Rico, you reach for your vellum and realize that, oh, I had given it to PJ. But then you realize that as you're sort of like reaching down, you realize that it's like it is at least partially is crawling back into your pouch or wherever you normally store it. And when you look at it, it freezes.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then a little corner of it, sort of like a little vaguely hand-shaped pseudopod stretches up from it and waves at you, and then snaps back.
Oh, that's neat. So, hey, everybody, look at this. If I give you my little drawing roll, it comes back to me. That's fantastic.
Whoa. Did you like attach a string to it that I didn't see?
No, it just waved at me. Hello.
Aw.
Now, this sounds like something that I might do, but y'all, I promise you I'm not doing this. I'm not. But it sounds fun. Maybe I should.
Mm-hmm. Sweet G, where do you wear the tarnished locket? Or do you just carry it in a pocket or a pouch?
I think I just carry it in my breast pocket.
Okay. So you feel, it feels sort of like a bug crawling on you. The rest of you notice this sort of tarnished looking locket sort of inches its way out of the top of Sweet G's shirt and up onto her shoulder. And then it seems to, like, the locket, almost like a little snake, the stands up on its chain, and the little locket just sort of like looks around a little bit, and then it sees, like, it turns and sees Sweet G looking at it, and there's that moment of like, ah! And
I think before it can go, "Brr," I snatch it and say, now which one of you is doing this?
I have no
it's
idea
not
how.
me.
Is it struggling in my hand, or has it limped out?
Yeah, it's sort of it limps for a second and then begins struggling, and it's sort of like you're holding on to like one of those really what do they call that sand that's like really
Moon sand?
Like
moon
kinetic
sand. Yeah, like kinetic sand. You feel it moving around inside your hand, like it's pushing against it and trying to get out, and it sort of oozes through your fingers a little bit. And
Now, what are you doing? Now, the locket, you're just a locket. Now you need to stop that. And you need to sit tight in my here breast pocket. And Sweet G is going to take the locket and just shove it down and like hold it up against her chest.
Okay. And shotgun rack as well. You hear like a thump behind you as you're taking sort of everyone else's struggles in.
Yeah, as soon as I hear the thump, Shotgun is like kicks the chair out from where they're sitting, and immediately with gun still in hand, just gets as close as they can to their little compass that's broken, and puts their gun right up to it, and just you know how like birds kind of like have to like put their neck so that they can get their eye as close as possible, and just like waiting to see what it's gonna do.
As soon as you point the gun at it, these two little pseudopods, like little hands, just shoot up as if it's putting up its hands.
Yeah, it's gonna make this like very desperado-y like whistle, like stay put, don't go anywhere.
You see two eyes open on it. They open sideways, so they're vertical eyelid slits. They open up, their orangey eyes. They sort of have like a goat's pupil. Two of them open up roughly in the center of its body, roughly where a head would be if there was a head. It still has its hands up, but then you do see like a couple of other smaller eyes on various parts of his body also open up and sort of like start looking around. All right.
I think PJ has crawled onto the ground of this grimy tavern and is just like crawling after their rock and trying to put their hand on top of it to an amount of success that is probably not high.
It is acting like an extremely like a caffeine hyped jumping bean. So it is, yeah, it's a little bit difficult to get your hand on it, and it seems to roll. Even when you do sort of get your hand, like you smack your hand down on it, and like I said, like it acts like kinetic sand, and it just sort of like oozes out through your fingers and then scrabbles over your hand and goes off. You also notice these orangey eyes open up on it.
Why haven't you done this before? This is very new. Why are you doing new now?
The same thing is happening with all of your trinkets, is that they've started to, like, these little orangey eyes have started to open up on them.
I think
I'm
instead
trying
of
to feed mine.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Winnie.
I think instead of like trying to chase after the pitch pipe, Winnie is now kind of looking at this pitch pipe and also looking at how everyone else's objects are acting. And I'd love to make like some sort of like Arcana or like history check or something, just to see if I know like anything about this.
Sure. An Arcana check would be awesome. And while you're doing that, Eli, can I also get a percentile roll from you, please?
Absolutely. That is a 52 for me.
Okay. Okay, and what was your Arcana check?
22.
22. Okay, we'll come to you in just a second. Shotgun Rack, you're staring down your trinket that is sort of raising its hands at you, and all of a sudden you can smell everything. Like, just if it's giving off an odor, you can smell it. You smell exceptionally well. You can decide whether that's fortunate or unfortunate. But for the next minute, you have essentially what is blind sight. and advantage on perception checks.
Oh, hell.
But you are very much getting that everyone's odor and everything's odor within about 10 feet of you.
I'm
I think
so
that makes
sorry
shotgun run.
to do this to you, but Sweet G lets out a little toot and just giggles. Well, excuse me.
Yeah, I think at that moment, like shotgun, like while their priority was initially to their little compass on the ground, the suddenness of the smells start making them like head turn around, and as soon as Sweetie makes that small toot and is just like trying to play it off, shotgun just immediately like turns their whole head back and like just like narrows their like eyes at Sweet G.
Yeah.
Like I like giving you that look like I know what you did.
Yeah, in your current state, it's a smell so bad you can taste it. And normally, as your attention is diverted elsewhere, your trinket sort of like still hands up and still eyes on you, starts doing that side shuffle away, which normally you wouldn't notice, but you can sort of smell it receding as it tries to shuffle away from you.
I turn right back and be like, my other hand point at it.
Freezes, still has the two hands up, and then very slowly, like a third hand goes up, and then like very slowly, like a fourth hand sort of goes up. It's sort of off to the side a little bit, and then it corrects and goes up. So now it has four hands up.
Just doing that to him, but also just also like trying to. Is there anything potentially like outside of Sweet G tootin'? Is there any other like unique smells that might be present, or do these trinkets give off like a unique smell in general?
The best I can tell you is that they don't smell like they ought to. Winnie's pitch pipe does not smell silver. Rico's vellum does not smell like vellum. Your broken compass does not smell like metallic, and that's that slight gunpowder smell that you've been used to because it stopped a bullet for you. None of them smell like they're supposed to smell. They smell organic. And that brings us back to Winnie, who did the Arcana check. Winnie, if you didn't know any better, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, you would swear that these were mimics. But like tiny baby mimics. Like mimics, of course, are usually like sort of chest size and big enough to like, you know, eat adventurers and things like that. These ones are just tiny little, like if you've ever seen like baby octopi, that's essentially what these are. This entire time that this has been going on, now that they've sort of caught your attention, they've also been doing like color shifting and things like that. Sometimes they blend in with the background really nicely. Sometimes they are these bright, vibrant colors. They're just constantly doing this color shifting. Yours, Winnie, keeps trying to go back into a pitch pipe shape. And when it is in a pitch pipe shape, occasionally you hear it trying to make a sound that unfortunately mimics the sound of Sweet G's toot, but in various pitches. So it sort of runs a scale of toots for a brief moment, and then
tootpeggio, if you will.
Yes. And then it seems to look up at you as if it's like looking for approval, like, you know, did I do good? And it takes a little bow.
I'm gonna look down and see. Hello. Where's my pitch pipe? I know you're not my pitch pipe. Do you know what you are mimicking is? Did someone? What is? I'm Winnie, by the way. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's when you talk to it directly, it sort of pauses for a moment, and then it flashes through like a rainbow of colors, and then it sort of forms itself into like it stretches out another pseudopod. It has given up any pretense of pretending to be a pitch pipe at this moment. It is essentially like a little octopus shaped blob with like multiple eyes. Multiple like sort of orangey eyes, and it sort of points at your pocket. And when you look down at your pocket, you see that you're sticking out of your pocket is this like little colorful scarf. It's like a silk scarf.
Okay, where? What? Like I pull out the scarf and I just look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own a scarf of this color. It's rather nice, but
yours is purplish, and you can see embroidered on it. It says, "Return to Mother. Bring my mixed up mimics home, and I'll return what they've replaced."
friends, I believe this is some sort of reverse fetch quest.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's just not gonna happen.
That's so not fetch, sweet G. But no, I hold up the everyone stop chasing your small objects. They're not your objects. I believe they're baby mimics that we have to return to their mother.
Now that
A
sounds
baby?
like a trick. Right? That sounds like something that I would do to get somebody killed if I was a bad person, and I'm definitely not. I'm very good.
We believe you, yeah.
Yeah, you've always been really nice.
PJ has knocked over almost every single table in this tavern. Almost all the chairs. They are bigger than they're used to, and never quite graceful.
So these are babies? We have to babysit?
I suppose so, yes. Does it look like anyone else has the little silks in their pocket, or the little scarves in their pocket, or is it just me?
Yes. As you look around, you notice that everyone has these colorful silk scarves sticking out of their pockets. And they all say the same thing. They're all different colors, however. So whatever color you would like for your silk scarf, that's what color it is. And they all say return to mother on them.
Rico is not paying attention to anything that is going on, but he's rolling up little balls of his fly paste.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Patchy, what I want you to do is fold up, and you get the treat. Fold up. Now, fold up.
Your little vellum mimic sort of looks at you and then sort of like stretches itself out, like as if it's like a flat sheet of vellum, and then suddenly just like snaps itself, like folds itself in half suddenly.
Oh, what a good little piece of paper. Okay, here we go. And he kind of like tosses the little ball of fly paste toward it.
Yeah. And then the eyes on other, like the eyes that were sort of inside the folded up paper suddenly appear on the outside of the mimic, and it looks up at you with that sort of like, did I do good? Did I?
Oh, Rico is just like, like laying on the ground looking at it and just rolling another little ball of fly paste. He's like, oh, what else can you do? Can you can you draw on yourself? And he also reaches out and pulls a little piece of charcoal out. He's not even paying attention to anyone else in the bar.
Yeah. A little pseudopod like wraps around it. And you see just sort of like, a kid writing on the wall with crayon. It just sort of like starts basically tattooing itself with charcoal. Like just if it had a face, that's what it would be doing. It'd just be like, all over its face. And
everybody look, Patchy can draw on himself. This is amazing.
Now, you already named yours. We gotta return it to its mother. Honey, don't get too attached.
But no, it's patchy, like parchment, but patchy, because, he's all kind of like, tattered on the ends.
That's so clever.
That's very clever. But we will have to return Patchy to his rightful home, as it says on that scarf in your pocket that you haven't noticed yet.
What scarf? Oh, what's an ugly pink color?
Sweet G, as you say the word mother, your locket sort of again does that sort of kinetic sand thing and like oozes out through your fingers and crawls back onto your shoulder. And then it starts making anyone who's owned a cat is familiar with this sound of a cat throwing up a hairball. You start hearing that knocking noise from your shoulder.
No, honey, no. Keep it in. Let me get you not on carpet. Come on. No. Does somebody have a paper towel we can put underneath this thing?
And then there's sort of
Patchy.
like and then with one final hawk, this rolled up piece of parchment flops out onto the table. It's slightly damp, and
I think I'm gonna get like a fork or something and like poke it open.
Okay. And again, your locket has sort of, it's no longer looking like a locket. It looks like a little octopus. And again, it looks up at you with these like big orange eyes and is just like, hey, I did good, right? And and it stands proudly next to the rolled up bit of parchment and looks at you. You begin opening the thing. There is writing on it. It's in common, so it's very easy for you to read. Dear adventurers, firstly, thank you for your willingness to help bring my baby mimics home to me. Secondly, I am sure you were looking for the items they seem to have accidentally replaced. You will need to meet me in Mimiclandia to get them back. Make sure to bring my lovely children, of course. Doris knows the way to the Rainbow Path. Follow it, and you and my precious babies can visit places throughout Mimiclandia. You see, my poor babies haven't yet learned how to properly shift their forms, so they'll need some experience of their own to figure it out. It shouldn't be too much of a trouble for you to escort them on their way, should it? When you finish, the Rainbow Path will lead you back to me, and then they should have no trouble at all turning into the keys you need to make Doris open up. Toodles, Mother.
Now, again, that sounds like a trick for us to come and just get eaten. I've lost cousins to mimics before.
Like they died, or did they like get married to them?
No, they died.
Okay.
Like,
It
they're
could've been
mimic
both
poop
also.
now.
Okay.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for your loss.
You know, they were silly sows anyway. It's fine. But if we keep these mimics and then raise them into little mimic beings, they're going to try to eat us. So we really do got to return them. But if we return them, Mother might try to eat us.
Well, I don't think
Well-
she should be grateful that we returned her children to her.
Patchy won't eat anybody. Patchy's a good little guy.
Y'all are so trusting, and I love that about you four. It is just so much fun. I mean, it is just so pleasant to be around people that are so trusting.
Shotgun still
Yeah,
has their gun. As you say, trusting.
But Sweet G, I mean, yeah, you trust people until, you do something like you point at someone and you go, hey, Rico, go kill them. And I'm like, okay.
Wait,
While
if
you're
I
having
told
this
you to
discussion-
just go kill somebody, you would do that for me, Rico?
Well, yes.
Oh my god, I love you. This is great. You're a peach.
Well, there was that one time that you're like, oh, I really want this thing. So, I went out and got the thing and I brought it back. It's just, so I have these two, it's like I've got these two Ricos in my head. One of them says, yeah, you should totally do that good thing for that good friend. The other one says, you should just slit their throats while they're sleeping.
Yeah, I like the first voice in your head better.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Please
too.
only listen to that one.
Okay.
Winnie has conjured a little dancing lights in front of their mimic. Just like doing, it's like the lights are like doing a little jig. Just like they're like, this is a baby. They like lights and color and like sound and like motion. So, and I feel like the other mimics might also be like, this is like Coco Melon, you know? They're just like gawking. Yeah.
The claw.
Yeah.
Shotgun brings up a point of like just making some disgruntled noises and then pointing at their compass and making like the sound of like in a way to express that like Shotgun needs their item back, and looking at all of you in a way of saying like how well I can't deal with this. I want my thing back. So how do we do that?
Yeah, Shotgun, you're absolutely right. I want my locket back too. I mean, this thing is kind of cute, but also it throws up. And again, I don't want to be eaten at a later undisclosed time. So I think after we finish eating our pancakes, we should probably scoot out of here.
Who is Doris? I mentioned a Doris.
I'm Doris. And you look over to the side. There was a door on the wall that wasn't there before. It just sort of you see it in the process of like morphing out of the wall, and it takes the shape of just a regular looking door. But then down the center of it, it sort of splits open, and there's this maw in it, and like tentacles come out the side, and
Terrifying.
Oh, I'm usually really hard to surprise, but that is surprising.
Rather, quite. Hello, Doris. How do you do?
Shotgun moves their gun from their little compass to the door because nobody just jumps the conversation on Shotgun.
As you address Doris directly, Doris just says, "Knock, knock."
Who's
Oh.
there?
Doris.
Doris who?
Doris locked. Did you want in?
Probably, yeah. Are these your babies? Are you mother?
Oh, no. I'm not mother. I'm
Don't
just here
say
to
that
help
about
you
yourself.
get into Mimiclandia. While Doris is talking, though, all of the mimics, all of the little baby mimics, sort of like ducklings, if ducklings were like tiny little octopus creatures, scurry over to like Doris's, we'll call them feet for lack of it because they're near the floor. But that's, as closely as they actually resemble feet. And they're all
Molding.
they're all like, very happy to see, like they're falling over one another. And even your shotgun rack has realized that you're probably, you moved the gun off of it, so you're probably not going to shoot it. So it puts two of its hands down just in case, leaves the other two up, but it sidles very fast over to Doris, and they're all sort of like, they're wiggling tentacles at one another and changing colors and shapes and stuff like that. They seem to be communicating somehow.
Do you know Doris, you cute little thing? You little throw up thing. Oh, you know Doris? Okay, well, Doris, throw up.
Rocco, don't push the other babies. That's gentle with your friends, Rocco.
Well, maybe Patchy will grow up to be a door, and I could call him Woody.
Maybe, Rico, maybe.
Shotgun is shaking
PJ
their
has-
head at the fact that everybody's starting to give every one of these babies names, and just like what is
Piper,
it to?
Piper, calm down. No jumping, Piper.
PJ has started tying some of the like extra little bits of like leather cording that they have into a Drake-sized baby Bjorn to carry Rocco on Gore as they travel.
Awesome.
Gore, come
Okay.
here. We gotta help Rocco. Come here. No, nice. Be nice.
And it's going as well as you would expect.
Awesome. So the little babies have taken the taken the scarves that you found in your pockets, and they sort of all hand them in to Doris. You see Doris reach down and look at a little pseudopod, grabs each of them, and it's like, and you can hear Doris counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, everyone is here. Well, if you're ready, I'll open the door to Mimiclandia, and you can begin your journey.
I
One
mean,
second.
I
Winnie
guess.
chug some coffee. We're ready.
Okay. Doris opens wide. The mouth stretches out to the side until it's like roughly circular and probably about like 6 or 7 feet tall. It is just this ring of teeth and pseudopods. It's like looking into like a lamprey. But then it's sort of like sticks in its tongue, like a little red carpet that unfurls along the bottom so that you can walk on it. And you can see that there's sort of like a swirl of colors inside of Doris, and you what you're able to make out is she said, "Whenever you're ready."
Well, I guess we'll go first, and Sweet G takes a little throw up through the Doris door.
Okay. It's like walking on wet Nerf. And sounds about the same. And but you disappear into the swirl of colors inside of Doris's maw.
Well, I don't hear screams of terror, so let's go. And I grab everyone else's hands and we go into the door.
Right
Nerf is a
right before you walk through, I think you hear on the other side, "Well, it's not too late." Ah!
Oh no, Sweet G!
Don't fall for that one again. Don't fall for
All
that
right.
one again, PJ.
Oh, it's just really convincing every time.
And as the 5 of you pick up your little mimics and follow into the portal, if you don't pick up your little baby mimic, then your little baby mimic is like, fast stepping. It grows like little pseudopod legs and fast steps after you. But
Rocco goes with the baby Bjorn and it goes poorly again.
You disappear into Doris. Doris begins to, even though you're on the other side, you don't necessarily see this. Doris's maw begins to shrink down until they just look like a regular door again. And that's when the innkeeper comes in, looks around and sees that you've all left, and the mess that has been left behind, and grumbles a bit and then gets to cleaning. And that is where we're going to take a break.
But before we go to break, let me tell you about the super cool organization that we are supporting with tonight's charity stream. It is Trans Lifeline, an amazing organization that offers direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis. It is truly for the trans community, by the trans community. If you go to our pinned chat in Twitch, in YouTube, on TikTok, you will see the Tiltify link. If you donate through that Tiltify link, everything goes directly to Trans Lifeline. There are some really cool ways that you can shape our game. A $35 donation gets you a Wild Magic Surge. Eli got one of those earlier. That is why Shotgun Rat could smell Sweet G's toot. So you could give that gift to anyone on screen. That sounds fun, right? And so, with that being said, my friends, go and check it out. If you're able to donate, please do so. And we will be back from break in about 5 short minutes. So see y'all soon. Hi, everyone, and welcome back for part 2 of tonight's charity stream. Tonight, we are playing Coming Out of Mimiclandia. Lev is so excited that they released some balloons. This is a really, really cool D&D adventure from our friends at Little Cord that is going to be released in July. And so we are playing it this evening to celebrate Pride and to raise funds for Trans Lifeline. If you're not familiar with Trans Lifeline, they are an amazing grassroots hotline and microgrants 501c3 nonprofit organization that offers direct emotional and financial support to trans people when they are in crisis. It really is an organization for trans people by trans people. So if you're able to donate, please check out our Tiltify. It's both in the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat. While you're there, you might see that there are some fun ways that you can help influence our game, like a $10 reroll, a $25 auto success, basically a nat 20, a $35 magic wild surge, a $50 Bane or Boon to the party, or for a $75 donation to Trans Lifeline, you can name the next NPC. For every $10 you donate, you get entered into a drawing to win gift cards from Heartbeat Dice, candles from Pack Pizzles Candles, and love and hugs from everyone on this screen, basically. Like, come on, what more do you need? We are so close to our $500 goal, just a mere $20 away. So if you're able to donate, please do so. And with that being said, Sweet G is going to start the recap. So, there I was. I'd come downstairs to get some breakfast, and I had some pancakes, and the weirdest thing happened when all of our little cherished items just started kind of running all over the place. And I grabbed mine and I said, "You are a locket, and you're gonna stay a locket, and you're gonna stay right next to my heart, because that's where I like to keep my cherished locket." And then I started talking to Rico about what was happening over there, and Rico started saying some awfully interesting stuff, like, sometimes I think about how nice my friends are, and sometimes I think about murder. And I think that's kind of fun. Right now, I'm walking through a door, and I don't know, Rico, do you have anything else to add to that?
Well, while everybody was dealing with their little trinkets, my little rolled up thing that I draw in and all that, it started waving at me. So I'm like, "Oh, hello." And I named him Patchy because he looked like parchment and he's kind of like, all ragged on the side. And I started trying to teach him tricks. And then all of a sudden the door started talking, and that was a little confusing. And yeah, I wanted to explain to you the two different voices of Rico inside of Rico's head. And yeah, so I followed you all, and now I'm walking on some strange door tongue that I hope
Yeah,
is...
Rico, your fly paste made me bigger too. That was really weird.
Oh, that's right!
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I've never been 6 feet tall before. It's a
I've
little
never been 4 feet
gothy.
tall.
Oh, I can put you on my shoulders if you want to be taller.
No, don't touch the skin, don't touch the skin.
Okay, right, sorry. Rocco's in a baby Bjorn too. That's another one. Rocco's my rock, who was a charity, not a charity, a cherished item. They're getting along as well as you would expect.
And there's like a distant noise of screeching and like pseudopods kind of flailing.
Well, most of you unfortunately missed my grand entrance this morning, though PJ and the innkeeper did give a raucous applause as much as they could.
It was excellent.
And Gore helped as well. And yeah, several of our cherished objects seem to have a mind of their own. And while I was trying really hard to figure it out, I went into my mind theater, which is kind of like a mind palace, but it's a theater because I'm performing for myself. And I figured out that these were baby mimics, and we saw tiny letters that were given to us that we had to return the mimics to their mother. Then the door started talking, and I think we may have taken drugs because, again, the door started talking. So.
Oh, that would make sense, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe that poison did mess with me more than I thought. My tongue's still a little numb.
Shotgun Rack, you had some experience too, didn't you?
Shotgun makes the sound of like snoozing and was sleeping, then was like walking downstairs. the sound of bacon and stuff like that. But then follow up with a grumbling of an empty stomach, since they did not even have a chance to have any coffee, any bacon, none of that. And then they make the sound of their compass thumping on the ground, and then the sound of them their pistol like clicking, and then just the sound of oh no, and the constant holding up Sweet G's toot, and make it very clear that Sweet G tooted. Before like a shaking of the head kind of sound as we all grabbed hands together and start squishing our way down this tongue, with the sound of like Doris kind of being there, and just a no good whistle of we're at it again and we're about to do something maybe we shouldn't be doing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So after about 5 minutes of walking, and Doris letting you know that you're getting closer, it's just any second now. We'll pop on the other side, and you start to see a light ahead of you. Resembles the brightly colored lights that you stepped through earlier. And the little baby mimics seem to get like very excited when they see the light ahead of them, and they start like sort of like stretching towards it. If you're not holding them or carrying them, they do sort of start like scurrying, trying to scurry a little closer. And as you step through that light, you find yourself in an almost disappointingly normal looking like forest / field. There's trees, there's a bit of a clearing. Looks like pretty standard wildlife. You're not sure what you were expecting from a place called Mimiclandia, but it does sort of have, it smacks of normalness, which is a little odd. Until you notice, like, well, behind you, first of all, you hear the sound of Doris being like, oh, that's better. Oh, I never get used to that part. And you hear them like smacking their tongue a few times as if they're trying to clean it. And it's like, well, yes, you're on your own. Look after the little ones and follow the sign. And the colored lights behind you sort of begin to fade out.
I'm sorry, Doris, you're just gonna have us walk on your tongue and drop us out and not give us a spitting image of where we're supposed to go to find Mother? That doesn't make a lick of sense, friend.
Yeah, there's no sound. Like the colored lights sort of like fade away, and Doris does not answer you.
Question.
Hey, Winnie.
Is Rico wearing shoes? So was Doris just poisoned by Rico's feet?
I mean, potentially, although you don't know how big Doris, it may take a while for it to set in. Shotgun Rack, you, as you're sort of like looking at the surroundings and eyeing up your little mimic companion, again, as soon as you look at it, you know, even if you don't point the gun, your mimic does that little hands up. That seems to be its like response to you all the time. But then you sort of see like its body undulates for a moment, and this third hand comes out from inside the body, and it's holding a steaming mug of coffee, and it just sort of holds it up to you.
Shotgun like narrows their eyes for a second, but takes the coffee cup, sniffs it a couple times.
How do you normally take your coffee?
Black, just bitter.
Yep. It is a steaming cup of black coffee.
I'll like do that. I'll like put my beak over the glass so that I can kind of like use my tongue to lick it. And when I determine that it's safe coffee, I'll start sipping it like normal. And I'll just
Your mimic then undulates like a little bit more, and a slightly smaller coffee cup comes out in a hand, and its mouth sort of splits open sideways, and it sips the coffee very badly because its mouth is slit open sideways. So it's just sort of dumping coffee into its mouth, and some of it is getting into the mouth, and some of it is dribbling down. We'll call it a chin, for lack of a better description. But it is trying to mimic you as much as possible. Pun intended.
Yeah. We continue that exchange until the coffee's done, and as much as Shotgunner wants to be suspicious, he did give me coffee. So I think at that point, Shotgun will kind of make this like over-exaggerated sigh, and then take off their hat and bring it down to the little mimic so that I can carry him on the top of my head. All right, fella.
The mimic climbs onto your hat brim, and sort of extends itself around the rim of the hat, so it's sort of holding on, and it's a little bit up at the front, and it's just sort of looking around. You do see that it sort of grows its own little cowboy hat on the top of its body, and it's happily riding along on your cowboy hat.
And then I'll look to everybody. I was just gonna look to everybody else and like point like one arm left, one arm right to say which way are we going.
I always like to go with my left, but that's just me. I don't know.
Doris also said there's a sign somewhere.
Sure wish I knew how to read.
Can I look around for a sign or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, as you say, Doris said there was a sign around somewhere. You sort of look around and you see one of what was just like a rock sitting in the field begin to shift, and it sort of like oozes up into the shape of like a road sign, basically. It changes from a rock into like a wooden pole with a sign on it. Has an arrow, and it says Wavewater Beach, 1 mile.
Well, I do like the beach.
Are we gonna have a beach day?
I love a shopping episode.
Have you ever wondered if fish get thirsty?
Yes, I have wondered.
Glug 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 glug.
We could ask if we find a fish.
Oh, I can talk to animals. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, if we're going to a beach, sure, there are fish in the in the ocean or the sea or the lake or wherever we're.
With the exception of Shotgun Rack's mimic, all the other mimics, having seen this other larger mimic change shape, are all trying to turn into like little signposts with greater or lesser success. Some of them are turning into one of them ends up turning into like one of those signposts that you see at like the South Pole, where they've basically just got like signs pointing to like every city on Earth, and it can't really decide where to point, so it's pointing everywhere. Some of them are like they try to stand up as tall as the the adult mimic, but they're much too young to have that sort of mass, and so they stretch up as far as they can, and then sort of you assume that it's their face that they fall on, but and they scurry back. But yes, there is a sign pointing towards someplace called Wavewater Beach.
Well, as a great philosopher once said, let's go to the beach each.
Let's go catch a wave.
I heard
You've heard
that
of
they
internet.
say what they gonna say.
Actually, that's all we can say at this point. Let's go.
Yes, as you start to say more, your mimic carefully puts a pseudopod over your mouth and waves another pseudopod at you. All right. You start heading towards your little baby mimics are all seem very excited. As you're going along, the signpost sort of follows you. It's sort of keeping pace with you. It's still pointing towards Wavewater Beach. But as you're getting closer, like the number counts down. So it's like, 3/4 of a mile, half a mile, quarter of a mile, 100 meters.
Now,
Switches to metric at the last moment for some reason.
Now, little buddy, do you happen to know where Mother is?
Who are you talking to?
Oh, I'm talking to the sign that's keeping pace
Oh.
with us.
The sign, another little sign like pops out of the main part, like the main sign, and just says, "Nope."
Okay, well, it was worth a shot.
Another little sign pops out. Yeah, sure was.
As we're walking, Shotgun's making the sound of horse clopping as we were traveling, and it's the coconut kind, not the real one.
Not an actual. Yeah,
not an actual one.
Perfect.
Winnie,
No
who
notes,
does
10 out of
have
10.
hooves, Winnie, who does have hooves, does not take offense to it. Just so you know.
Thank you.
Good point. Good point. Though yours are cloven, not shoed, so that's fine. All right. As you're moving along, eventually, yes, as the signpost indicates, you're getting closer and closer to what you assume to be Wavewater Beach. That turns out to be the case. As you're moving along, the grassland that you're moving through slowly begins to turn into like sand dunes. You can hear the sound of surf crashing against the shore. You can also hear the raucous sound of like people talking excitedly and what sounds like somebody talking through a megaphone, although it's hard to make out exactly what they're saying at this distance. And sort of as you crest the rise and look down on the beach, you do see like this rolling expanse of sand. There's ocean water, lake water potentially rolling in. A bunch of people you would expect to see, people relaxing on blankets and things like that. Instead, what you see is a bunch of people sort of in like these little groups all over the beach, excitedly like working away with tools. You can now hear like hammering and sawing and the sound of like tag with it, they just have electric screwdrivers. You hear like socket sets going, and it's like seeing a NASCAR pit area, but without the engine noise. And they seem to be working on these contraptions that are made out of like wood and canvas, and they have like weird gear assemblies and like big wide sort of flat areas. They sort of resemble, some of them resemble kites, some of them resemble like big sort of bird-like things, but they're all made out of like wood and canvas. You can see they have seats. Everyone seems to be like very excitedly building these odd contraptions. And through it all, you can sort of see this 8-foot tall praying mantis-like creature is scurrying around. It has clipboard. It's scurrying around on like sort of its hind forelegs, and it has like on one arm it has like a clipboard. You can see it has like a sun hat on, like a big wide brim sun hat, and a megaphone. And every once in a while, it'll like shout instructions at people. And it's like, you only have an hour left to finish your flying machines. Hour left before we start launching.
Person
and
of
it's-
authority. We should probably go speak with them.
Oh, look, shotgun. That one looks like you. It's like pointing to one of the like slightly bird-shaped ones that looks nothing like a kenku, a raven, or anything remotely close to you.
I make a steaming noise. I'm just like put both hands out. Like, how could you compare this?
You got
Rico.
wings. Sentient has wings. You bird, that's a bird.
Not all bird folk are the same, Rico.
Points at Winnie.
Oh, okay.
But come, let's speak with this. See what's going on here.
All right.
I think, yeah, Winnie will go up and approach the praying mantis person.
All right. Yeah, you approach it. You stumble across the your baby mimics. If they're not riding on you, they're having a great time playing in the sand as they sort of follow you across the way. They're like flicking sand at one another and rolling along. But they follow you up as you approach the. It's a thri-kreen. You approach this creature. It sort of just swivels. It hears you coming and swivels its head, and sort of looks back over its shoulder at you, and is like, "Oh, look at you! Fresh faces to Mimiclandia. Well, we're happy to have you. They call me Steve around here since no Steve.
Okay.
Yes,
Eve. Pleasure to meet
the
you.
apostrophe is it's fine. Steve is fine. I understand. You don't have mandibles like I do. It's hard to pronounce the apostrophes. And they sort of click their mandibles at you. Anyway, you're here for Fly or Die? What am I saying? Of course you are. It's your first time to Wavewater Beach. You've got to get your feet wet.
What's
Who's
fly
the-
or dive? Die?
People
Did
are
you say
always
die
wet.
or dive?
Fly or Die. It's much gentler than it sounds.
What is it? I have a thing that flies. This is Gore, by the way. Gore flies. I don't think
Ooh.
dying's on our plan, though. Can you explain the die part?
Steve rotates their body underneath their head. Like their head keeps facing you, and it just rotates its body so that now the body is facing you as well. And then I mean it's much gentler and much more fun than the name implies. We just there's only so many things that rhyme with fly. Well,
Try.
Fly or try? Yeah.
What about
Sky.
like
Fly,
rye
sky.
bread? I know that's a two-parter, but
Fly
for
or
sure is
rye?
tasty.
Fly
Yeah.
or rye?
Yeah, like
Fly or
you
rise?
fly or you make rye bread.
Anyway, it's a flying competition. You build a flying machine and you keep it in the air for as long as you can, and the person who keeps it in the air the longest wins.
And if
do
we
they win?
lose, we die.
Well, I mean, you might die. Depends on how high up you are when you crash. Land when you land.
Sweet G, if you'd like anybody to die, just point them out.
Now, just wow, this is so much fun. Not currently, Rico. But if that changes, you're gonna be the first to know, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'll just make them go dark, and then I'll just walk in there and just step.
Now, Mr. Steve, is there a reward for winning?
You mean apart from walking away?
Well, I suppose that's a reward in and
Yes.
of itself, but
Yes, absolutely. There's a reward. You get the sense that they hadn't actually thought about it up to that point. You're probably the first person to suggest that there should be some sort of prize or reward, and Eve is just going to go along with it. Yes, there's obviously some sort of prize. That would be ridiculous to do all this and not have some sort of prize. And there's like a second set of arms that's like patting at pouches and things like that.
What is it?
Well, you have to win. And
It's
then
a
you'll see it.
secret
Or someone
prize?
has to win. It's a secret prize.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Excellent. That is the best kind of prize.
Stay, Eve. We're also looking for Mother. Do you know a Mother? By chance?
Yes, I can see you have some little friends with you, and sort of reaches out like one of their arms and tickles tickles one of the baby mimics under again, we'll go with chin. And the mimic seems to like does the mimic version of purring, which is just like its body fluctuates with like all of these different colors and patterns, and seems to sort of like ripple through these like rainbow colors as it's yes, well, I don't know where Mother is exactly, but I do know that, I mean, she's bound to be around here somewhere. And she'll probably be very impressed if one of you wins this competition.
Okay, well, if we win the competition, will you do an introduction? Would that be our prize?
Yes! Exactly.
How fortuitous that that prize was that all along.
Isn't it? Would you
Where
like to...
where's the
go.
competition? Like, not like where is it happening? Obviously it's happening here, but like where are the other competitors?
Oh, all around you. All of these people, like you see, like there's probably like a half dozen to like 10 groups that are like busily building flying machines of various descriptions. And sort of like you pick out of the crowd that there also seems to be you notice that none of them are really building like engines onto their flying machines. That is because there is essentially like this large siege engine sized like slingshot that is like being assembled on the beach by a group of dwarves. And they're sort of like lining it up to face over the water, and you see them like doing a bunch of tests. One of them grabs what you think is a large stone, and they sort of like crank and stretch the slingshot back, and then this stone shoots out over the water. But as it leaves the slingshot, you see it sort of expand into like a mimic shape. And it's sort of like this big mimic, like starfish, essentially, that goes whipping out into the water. You swear, I mean, you've never heard a mimic make an actual sound before, but you swear you hear, and then there's a splash like 100 feet offshore as this mimic plunges into the water.
If this was
So
a
this is-
stage, oh, go ahead.
So this is less flying and more gliding technically, because I don't know, I'm not super smart, but usually flying has to do with propulsion and moving oneself through space, but gliding is like you have propulsion forced upon you and then you stay aloft. And then they kind of look at Winnie like, right.
It's falling with style.
I mean, we have to get you off the ground somehow. There's no cliffs around here. Once you're up there, however, how long you stay in the air is completely up to you. It depends on how hard you can flap or pedal, or otherwise, like move your wings.
So the person with the most flies wins.
Yes, I guess in a sense.
Rico hands out his thing of fly paste. That would be me.
Mm,
It's full of flies, and you just said the one with the most flies wins.
I did say that, but it's hard
Yep.
to tell whether this is all one big fly
No,
or
no, it's
several
many.
flies.
It's many little flies, and it's a bunch of different kinds of flies.
Mm,
There are some horse flies in there, just your normal common flies. A few gnats. There's, I think, one wasp.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see, I think we've I think you're mixing up verbs, the verb to fly, with the noun fly.
Well,
I
now
think that's where
Rico
we're.
is right. There are at least 2 flies in there.
Yes,
So, and flies have wings.
it
Because,
is. It is very true.
well, do wingless flies crawl? Do you call them crawls? No, you still call them flies.
Maybe we should call them crawls, though. That would make a lot more sense.
No, it would, and I've always wondered, like, do snakes trip? But anyways, no, so I should win because I have the most flies.
Yes. Well, you do raise a good point, and he quickly goes to like what is obviously like the set of rules for this competition, and quickly makes some updates. And you can see he turns it around. You can see that Steve has changed the wording of, and it has included and like has done like a little arrow up and then brackets, the verb fly, not the noun fly.
Oh, that's not fair. Come on, please. Just kind of like smiling as wide as he can.
That is, I'm very, very sorry, but these rules, we really can't be breaking them for everybody. So very terribly sorry. It is a lovely collection of flies, however. Very,
Well, it's
very
not my
viscous.
fault that rest of your competitors are not as wise as the great Rico, the shadow monk and alleged thief of Kadesh.
It is true. It is very true. It is not their fault.
Mr. Steve, a
Yes.
question about the rules. How is feats of magic allowed? Spells and that sort?
Sure. Yeah, as long as you can stay in the air.
I turn to my friends and say, "We're gonna win. Let's go."
As long as as long as you don't do anything to destroy anyone else's craft.
Of course not.
Yes.
Honorable magic only, of course.
Yes.
That'd be
You can
pretty
cast
neat.
magic on yourself or your companions.
Well, that takes
well,
all the
if you-
fun out of it then.
But we have about an hour before we start launching. So if you want to get your, I assume you're here, you know how to build a flying craft. So all the materials are over there, and he sort of points at like a pile of like wood and canvas and barrels of nails. And yes,
Steve, I have one more question.
I hopefully have one more answer.
So, you said whoever has the most amount of flies, the verb, wins. So, does that mean everyone has to stay flying, or just whoever's team flies the longest and it's any member of the team?
Yeah, what if
Yes,
we have
as-
more, a lot of people flying at the same time?
Yes, as long as any member of your team stays aloft.
Great. Good to know. Thank you.
And PJ's eyes get really big and they slowly walk away.
But you
Thank you
don't
so much,
signify
sir.
how high.
Nope, this is a time trial. As long as you stay off the ground, as long as your craft remains flying, you.
All
Okay,
right.
why don't two of you just lift me up off the ground for like an hour?
We can't touch your skin, Rico.
Get a stick.
You want us to put you on a stick?
Yeah, I can just balance on a stick. I'm very good at balancing, or I can hang from it or something like that. Maybe even Sweet G could push me like on a swing as long as I'm not on the ground.
I
Maybe
don't
even
think that's
Shotgun can give me a
right.
couple feathers and I can I'm flapping.
Well, does anyone know the fly spell?
I do, yes, as well as the gust of wind spell. So
Well,
I think we're set.
I mean, yeah, there we go. Do y'all just want to kind of twiddle our thumbs for the next hour, or do we want to pretend like we're doing something?
We should
Yeah.
obfuscate.
You do
Shotgun
have
like
Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, a shotgun was just gonna point at every single person and then make the slingshot sound of like who's gonna be the one.
The most fearless amongst us, which would be Rico. So
Yeah. Oh, Rico, I can send Gore up with you, so if something happens, Gore can fly, and then the team is still in the air. Rico, we can't. Did you lose your voice?
You muted, Rico.
Still getting used to that. No, that's a great idea. So, I go on the slingshot and then I do the flying and then I stop flying and then Gore keeps flying and then maybe I even throw something, like some of my flies.
All right. So you do have to build your flying contraption. Who wants to do what to contribute to building this thing?
I think Winnie is gonna like draw up some plans, like do some like engineering work essentially, because I think Winnie might be just like mechanically speaking, I think Winnie might have the highest intelligence. Probably. They're the
I think
wizards.
that's a good guess.
Oh, that's a really good guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And like tell everyone else, start gathering materials. I'll draw up a plan for something that at least will look airborne.
I can offer. I can't do a lot of magic, but I can do a little bit with like arrows. And if I shoot an arrow, I can have like a bunch of vines come out and like wrap around whatever I shoot it at. So maybe that can like hold it together. Maybe? Is that helpful? Winnie, you're like the
That's
third
great.
smartest person I know, so that's why I'm asking you.
I'm honored. Thank you so much, BJ. Yeah, that would be rather helpful. Yes.
Great. You tell me when and where to shoot, and that's really all I'm good for. I'm not smart, but I can shoot pretty okay.
You have intelligences in other places, PJ.
Oh, that's really nice of you to say. Thanks. Maybe you're the second smartest person I know. Maybe you're second smartest.
Wait a minute. Shotgun. You know how when you pull, when you do the thingy and the big noise and then the little thing comes out? It's like, can we have some of that magic smoke stuff that we can put in the bottom and then we light it and it makes it look like we're going out of like we're a small thing going out of your big, cannon thingy?
Shotgun makes that like explosion sound.
And I can help with that too, because I've got this little cantrip that'll just light the place up. It'll be great.
Yeah, Shotgun will
Okay.
go start rummaging through their pockets until they find their little bag of gunpowder that they keep on them. And they'll hand it to Rico.
Okay. I'm gonna go look for sticks. I'm gonna start wandering around looking for sticks, not really knowing what I'm looking for.
Whatever all of you are doing, your little mimic companion helps you. I mean, again, it just sort of like they copy you. If you're picking up sticks, then your little mimic friend is like running around beside you, also picking up sticks. And as its armload of like little twigs and stuff like that gets too big, it just grows another arm and keeps piling on more sticks until your little mimic is like you've got an armload of sticks, and then your little mimic friend is like staggering under a mountain of like these little twigs.
Can I grab a little twig and like maybe a piece of my hair and string it and make a tiny little bow for Rocco and pull them out of their baby Bjorn on Gore and try to teach them how to shoot a bow and arrow?
Yes, absolutely you can. Rocco takes this, and this is like,
Yeah, you gotta pull back all the way. Yeah, good. Now let go.
and the front pseudopod lets go, and the little twig comes back and is like,
Oh no, I'm sorry I didn't tell you which one to let go. It's okay. You're okay. So don't put it at anything you're not willing to kill. Yeah, You can shoot it at the dirt for now. Shoot it at the dirt, and I'll hold it up in the air so it can shoot at the dirt.
All right. It's just shooting little twigs at the dirt. Yeah.
I'm teaching Piper all about the laws of aerodynamics. As I'm like sketching out little like flying devices.
Yeah, Piper is doing their best to sort of like, as you're sketching things out on the paper, Piper is doing their best to sort of make the three-dimensional model of that. So as you're like make like a little airplane body type of thing, Piper is like stretching and doing it, and it looks like a little model plane that's constantly morphing on the sand next to you as you're drawing.
Oh, that little bit right there won't work. Let me just, I'll just like erase a bit, redraw it, different shape, and it's like it's a little back and forth, just trying to like, as they're shaping, and I'm just like looking and seeing like, okay, well this will get more lift if I do it like this, and then yeah.
Perfect.
Sweetchi doesn't really know what the heck is going on, so they're really just following Shotgun's lead. But I think a couple minutes in, Sweet G would bring out, throw up the locket and say, "Now, Shotgun, do you think that our mimics could be friends? Mine looks kind of lonely, don't you think?" And I headcanon that this is what the mimic looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. The big Puss in Boots eyes, except they're orange and like goat shaped.
Yeah, Shotgun is again like just the hard stare of looking at a little mimic, but the more its puppy dial guys stare at him, the more he can't handle it. And he'll kind of lean his hat a little bit forward because his little hat mimic is on his head, so there's a hat upon a hat. And gives like a little like tap to be like, "Come on, join on the hat."
Do you want to go up on that hat? I know you do. I know you do. All right, now make yourself into a hat just like that. There you go. You're doing so. Oh, you're so good. Okay, here you go. And Sweet G will put throw up onto, well, not like throw up, but you know, throw up the name onto Shotgun's hat next to the other mimic.
Nice.
Verbs versus nouns.
Verbs versus nouns.
The one shot.
Side quest of this.
Remember, you asked for it. All right, yeah, you put throw up on the brim of Shotgun Rack's hat, and you can. There's a moment of like when two young kids meet on the playground and they're sort of like sussing each other out, and then they just fall into playing almost immediately, like just without any real communication. They just start playing with one another. You can Shotgun Rack. You can feel them roughhousing and playing around on the brim of your hat. They seem to be having a good time.
Shotgun makes just a heavy sigh, like a disgruntled father, taking on more children.
Occasionally, you hear sounds from your little mimic. Did you give them a name?
No, Shotgun did not give a mimic a name at all. Okay. Maybe by the end of it.
You can hear them trying to make like copy sounds that you have made previously. So as they're running around in roughhousing, you hear like the brief sound of like spur noises, and then something that sounds like a horse whinny, and then you hear just the tiniest, cutest little Shotgun Rack, like just the little as they continue playing and roughhousing. They're just having a wonderful old time. Nobody seems to be really paying attention to you other than like they've noticed that you're there, and you hear like whispering about like, oh, there's like new competitors, new faces, but everyone pretty much leaves you alone. They're very busy building their own flying machines. And if I could get Winnie, let's make this an Arcana check. just to see how this all turns out.
Okay, Arcana plus 6, 17, so 23.
Okay.
So rolling hot.
So whatever y'all doing seems to work. At the end of an hour, Eve has also been going around sort of like counting down the time. It's sort of like being on the weirdest episode of Top Chef that you've ever seen, except you're building like flying machines instead of a souffle. But by the end of it, you you have something that looks like it could fly and hold together while it's in the air. So yeah, and then Steve calls time, and everybody's like, there's like the sportsman like clapping from everyone, like, good job everyone. Everyone seems to have like finished their flying machine in time. And then Steve just starts calling groups over to the slingshot, and you see like the dwarves come over and help lift everyone's flying machine up and take it over, and one by one they put them in the machine, put them into the slingshot, and the dwarves crank the slingshot back, and then some pilot, like the person who's obviously the pilot because they have like goggles and the little like World War I style aviator cap, climbs onto with varying amounts of trepidation, climbs onto the back of these things, and the slingshot just flings them off over the ocean.
I'm going to cast darkness on the one that looks the best.
Okay.
The moment before the sling releases, I'm going to cast darkness as long as I'm within 60 feet on the flying machine, so the darkness goes with it.
Okay.
Shadow monks, y'all.
How close are we to it? Is it within 60 or is it within 30?
You can be as close as you want. They don't. You can't be right up next to it because if you try and get like right next to the slingshot, the dwarves sort of like shoo you away because it's a safety hazard. They start talking about something called OSHA, and you don't understand it, but they seem pretty adamant about it. So,
I knew an OSHA in high school, so yeah.
Yeah.
Do I get the gist from Rico that he's up to something silly?
Oh, I'm giggling like a maniac.
Okay. I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy then, and I want to just create like all sounds of like thunder and maybe like some scary laughing in that area, but only in that area, not for everyone to hear.
Okay. So in the area of the flying machine or in the area of the slingshot?
I think I'm just gonna like rapid fire both as much as I can because it's a cantrip. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can see just before Rico casts the darkness, you can see the pilot is getting like a little freaked out at all of these like, and the like the thunder and lightning noises, starts looking around and like, but it's like a clear blue sky. It's like that perfect anime beach episode sky, and doesn't really know what's going on, but then doesn't really have a chance to investigate it any further as the dwarves like pull the crank and the slingshot just flings this thing. Rico hits it with darkness, so now there's just suddenly this dark ball. You can see like just the tips of wings sticking out of the side, like maybe the tail. Otherwise, it's just this ball of darkness, and you just hear like a voice from the pilot inside. Like, what the heck is going on? And it looks like, had the pilot been able to see to steer, it looks like they might have done a pretty good job. But they can't see anything and they panic. And so you just sort of see this thing flung out into space. And then it just sort of starts, like, you can see the wingtips, and it just sort of starts to pinwheel, and then just boosh into the ground, and there's just this ball of darkness floating on the water, and then eventually you hear, like, sputtering, and you see the pilot sort of swim out from inside the ball of darkness.
That was such a good idea, making a flying machine that looks like a ball, because, if the big slingshot is like a sling and a big round stone and you throw it, that's a great idea.
Even without your intervention, there are a few of the launches that go very badly. Basically, the slingshot is putting too much strain on the contraption that they've built, and the wings like tear off as it's being flung out into the ocean. So essentially, it just turns into like a little wood and canvas javelin that like gets flung like about 75 feet out into the ocean and then crashes. But some of them do get up in the air, despite your attempts to stop them, and some of them do get, like, they glide around and then eventually spiral. You can see like the pilots on board pedaling away, trying to keep, and as they're pedaling, the wings are flapping. You see some of them, their pilots are like very large, with like one of them is like a troll. So it has those big long arms, and it's basically just like flapping its arms as it's going along. That's the one so far that has stayed aloft the longest. And then it is your turn. So Rico, go ahead.
I was saying, as we were like watching and we were seeing like where they were falling apart, I'm gonna say to PJ, okay, PJ, I want you to take those vines of yours, and you see where those planes are falling apart, kind of at the wings, and you see at the back. I want you to reinforce those parts with those little vines of yours. Can you do that?
Yeah, gotcha.
And I'll take my arrows out, and I'll do like 2 or 3. It's concentration, so I can only do 1 ensnaring strike. But I'll put it on one of the wings. So, and then I'll turn to Rico and I'll say,
okay, Rico, if one of the wings fails, this is gonna be the wing that fails. So try to keep this one on, and then, like, if you can, kick this wing off, so that it like Do you know what a helicopter seed is? Did you ever like spend time in a forest? Do you know about helicopter seeds?
No.
Okay, so there's some trees that drop seeds, and they have a little seed at the bottom, and then they have like this little wing thing on it, and when they fall, they go in like circles like this, and they fall really, 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 really slowly. So when we lose a wing, because we're gonna lose a wing, because I can only do one of these, so when we lose a wing, kick that one off and take a helicopter down. Got it?
Okay, so kick a wing off and spin really slow.
Okay, but kick this wing off, not the one I'm gonna shoot, the one that has the arrow in it. Keep it.
Well, why don't you just shoot me with an arrow when the other wing starts to fail?
Why would I do that? That would hurt you, and I don't want to hurt you. You're my friend.
No, I'd be fine.
Now,
You're gonna hit the wing.
my friends, I thought that we were using the fly spell.
We are also doing that. So no matter what, Rico, you personally will be able to fly if the vehicle starts going down.
Right. This is just if we have to have the vehicle up there. It's like, it's collateral, not collateral. What's it called? Insurance.
All right.
So I'm going to be tied into the thing, and then I'll be able to fly, and then we're going to set off the boom thingy, and then
I'm gonna shoot
break a
the arrow
wing
with the
and
wing.
spin.
I'm gonna shoot the arrow with the wing. The one with the arrow in it stays. That's where all the vines are gonna be. The other one you can kick off if you want to.
But also, if you do start going down, you can just if you just unlatch yourself. I've made it really easy it's Velcro, so you can just kind of unlatch yourself, and then you will continue flying as the device falls.
You're gonna do great, honey. You're gonna do so well. Just keep on flying. Just keep on flying.
Yeah.
I've written down a diagram, and it's just a crude drawing of the plane falling and Rico still flying.
Okay, now
during
see,
all-
that I understand. Rico has an intelligence of 6.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He knows what
Pictures.
he's doing.
It's gonna be fine. During all of this, one of the dwarves has come over and handed Rico like a set of goggles and a aviator helmet.
I do not need
And
these. They won't fit. My eyes are like way over here.
the dwarf
you
sort of looks at you for a moment, and then grabs a tool out of their tool belt, and they sort of take the goggles, and you see them like you hear ratcheting noises. They sort of turn slightly away from you because they don't want you to see what they're doing, but you hear like ratcheting noises and things like that. And when they turn back around, you've got a pair of goggles that are like basically telescoped out to the side so they fit over your bulbous eyes.
Okay, thank you.
If you look at your mimic companion, when you have your aviator helmet and goggles on, you look over at your mimic companion, and your mimic companion has grown a matching aviator helmet and goggles, and is and somehow has like one of those like white silk scarves that you see like World War I pilots wearing all the time, and is like looking up at you and gives like a pseudopod thumbs up.
Now,
And
Patchy, remember, if we start to spin and almost fall to our deaths, what you need to do is you need to jump off and get as big as you can, like that other big one that went, so you can float and like not die when I hit the surface of the water going very fast.
All right,
Yeah.
and now it's your turn to be launched. So what's the plan? What are you doing? Are you casting fly on the contraption or on Rico?
I think I'm gonna do it on Rico because I feel like if the thing starts falling apart, having fly on it won't do anything because it'll just be
Mhm.
multiple pieces just flying, and then Rico will start falling.
Right.
So I think having Rico, being the flying one is the plan.
Okay. So Rico, the dwarves have loaded this flying contraption onto. You can see one onto the catapult, the slingshot. You can see one of the wings is being held in place by a collection of like vines. There's an arrow sticking out of the wing, and there's just these vines that are wrapped around and like cinching it tight. You look back and you can see that there's like a bead of sweat as PJ concentrates to hold the thing in place for you.
I hand the dwarves that bag, the entire bag of powder that shotgun gave to me, and place it at the bottom of the thing, just like nestled into the slingshot. And I just look at the dwarf. So what I want you to do is light that on fire, count to 5, and then let go.
The whole thing?
Well, yeah, of course. It goes bang like I was the little thing in his big cannony thing, boomy thing, and then it'll just send me up like really high.
Okay.
I would like to add that when Winnie casts this spell on Rico, in Rico's mind, you just have the song "Summertime" playing the entire time. Just because that's a song I feel like it just sounds it would sound nice as you're falling to your death.
It's important to have outro music. All right. So the dwarf shakes their head and it just like takes this pouch of powder and like goes to the back of the craft and tucks it in, and like jams see them like sort of like take out a length of cord and sort of like measure it in 5 seconds. Okay, so trims it, tucks it in, and then they're like ready to go. So he lights the cord, counts to 5, and pulls this thing.
The second before it goes off, Rico quickly looks at Sweet G. Oh, That's right. We were walking on the tongue, and then you said a lick of sand.
There is a massive explosion. And you lose sight of, because it's black powder, so you lose sight of Rico and the entirety of the craft for a brief moment. And then when the smoke clears, you see probably about like 100 feet away, 150 feet away, is Rico. What sort of noise is Rico making at the moment? You've just been flung.
Trilling a very high-pitched, just like frog, just like, yay! just having an absolute blast.
I
Your
am
little
imagining Crazy Frog. I hope you know this.
Yeah. Your little mimic friend, as you're like making these noises and looking around, you look over and you see your little mimic buddy, and they sort of like look over at you with like 7 different eyes, all huge, and like they're holding on as like 5 or 6 different pseudopods that are just clutched onto this craft. And yeah, the wind is whipping through them. But they do take a moment as they make eye contact with you. Like one more little pseudopod pops up and gives you like another thumbs up, like this is the best thing ever. And yeah, you fly. How long does a fly spell last?
10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So basically, I mean, and
I'm gonna start doing stunts, just like, just
yeah.
I don't know what they are, but like a split S maneuver, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you start now, did anyone communicate to Rico how long the spell was going to last?
No.
Okay. So 10 minutes, everything goes fantastically. Rico, you're able to like swoop around. You are essentially like you are flying. And you basically just have this craft strapped around you. And then 10 minutes is up. And up to that point, it's all very impressive. Like it's gorgeous. You're just like floating around. And then the fly spell stops.
The moment I begin to plummet, I kick off the wing that I shouldn't have kicked off.
Excellent.
I was waiting
Yes,
for that.
Of course you do. Go ahead and give me a strength check.
I'm a frog.
Mm-hmm.
The whole
Oh,
time
I'm
Winnie
aware.
is on the ground, like, I'm forgetting something. What did I forget to say?
That's a
I
15.
think you told him everything.
Okay. It takes you a little bit of kicking because you're kicking the wrong wing. And PJ's vines are holding that wing on, right? And I'm just gonna say, like, PJ, down on the ground, you can sort of like every time Rico kicks that wing, you can sort of feel like a little shudder through your concentration on the spell. Like,
Other one!
Take out a dagger, start sawing at the vines. It's not working. It's not working.
PJ's just screaming.
yeah, at this point, bits and pieces of the contraption start to fall off. It was pretty well constructed, but honestly, like none of you have built a flying contraption before, so it's doing the best it can. There is like you're sort of gliding a little bit better than you would otherwise because you are a very small frog. You are a very small grung, so you're just sort of like, but there's no doubt that this thing is just starting to fall apart from the strain of like trying to keep you aloft. Eventually you do saw through enough of the vines that the wing comes off, and you do sort of start to slowly spiral. However, BJ was absolutely correct. You should have kicked the other wing off, because as you begin spiraling, that puts more strain on the wing that's left, and you hear like a sort of a crunching snap. And that wing breaks off, and suddenly your spiral turns into just a plummet.
Patchy, fly!
At this point, you feel like a sharp tug. You start falling. And I mean, you're falling over ocean. It's still going to hurt because hitting water at like from any great height is like hitting concrete. But
unless you're a monk with slow fall.
Yeah. So you start falling and you can sort of like feel gravity take hold. And then you sort of like jerk suddenly. And you start falling slower. And you're sort of floating. And the rest of you can see Patchy has like crawled up onto Rico's shoulders. And then you can sort of see Patchy has stretched itself out into like a blanket parachute shape. And is slowing Rico's descent into the ocean. And Rico just sort of does this. Again, if you look up at Patchy, Rico, Patchy, like it's a little unsettling because it's stretched very, very thin. But you can still see the eyes on the inside of like the parachute dome looking down at you, and then just the tiniest little pseudopod, because it doesn't really have a lot of body to play with at the moment, just sort of stretches out. You get that other little like thumbs up of I got you, buddy.
Same thumbs up. The moment we're about to hit the ocean,
yeah.
I take out that pot of fly paste and throw it up into the air like the plan.
Excellent. No notes. Yeah, you just so all the rest of you see Rico slowly descend into the ocean and splash down, and then Patchy settles after them, and then you just see this little pot suddenly fling about like 10 feet up into the air, and then also splash down.
Does anyone know if Rico can swim?
Well, we're about to find out now, aren't we?
I mean, it'd be the odd amphibian that couldn't. I'm assuming Rico has a swim speed.
Yeah, and I can also breathe water.
Yeah, so
I just walk out of the.
Yeah. There's a pause. So... You lose sight of Rico for a little while, and then.
Okay, so I was up there for at least 2 minutes, and then we were floating, and then my flies went up even higher. So I think I was in the air for the most time.
Everyone is like clapping and cheering as you walk out of the ocean. Steve is there and is like, "Yes, you are our winner! Congratulations!"
I couldn't have done it without my entire team.
I go up to I run up as if I'm gonna hug Rico, and then I'm like, "Nope, poison skin, air hug, air hug." I'll learn protection from poison one day, and we'll have a big group hug from then.
Okay.
Patchy's on Rico's shoulder, giving little bows and waving to the crowd. The rest of your little MIG friends are excitedly jumping up and down, and they sort of come forward and congratulate Patchy. They're all sort of like. And you can actually, as they're doing this, again, you can see like the colors shimmering and shifting. They're getting bigger. They seem to be like gaining size, gaining mass, just from this moment and everything they've learned from you.
Yay! Sooner we'll be big enough to eat us, right, Sweetie?
No, that's not what we want. But we do want Steve with the appropriate apostrophes in the name. I'm so sorry, I can't remember. But we're gonna want to know where Mother is now to get these little taxon back.
Yeah, no, of course. It's ST'(E')VE. but that's not. I mean, Eve. As it sounds.
Eve. Okay, I can do that. Eve. Thank you.
As it sounds. Or you can grow mandibles. It's much easier that way.
Fine. Thank you so much for asking.
No problem. Yes, of course. Well, I think actually, and at this point, like a signpost, your signpost friend comes running up.
So now you know where Mother is, huh?
Comes running up. Literally comes running up. It sort of like splits and has like two wooden-looking legs. Comes running up and posts itself in the sand, and then points like back up the beach, and it says, "Mother, 250 meters." Apparently, we're metric now. It's.
Wait, we passed her already, and then we're doubling back? Why didn't you just tell us where she was?
Well, now technically, yeah,
The sign gives a
I
shrug.
would have just rather you done that. But you know what? We've won the contest. We had a
This is pretty fun.
fun little outing together. We had a nice little day at the beach. Now we get to go and drop off the kids at Mother.
Mhm.
And if we went right just to Mother, we wouldn't have gone through this whole competition in order to get the reward of getting to speak with Mother. Wait,
we were supposed to get.
Well, that
We
makes
were
sense.
supposed
follow
to
the
Mother
system.
anyway.
By the way, shotgun. And Rico pulls out this much smaller, like almost tiny bag of gunpowder and just, I saved some for you.
Shotgun takes the wet bag of gunpowder, looks at it, looks at you, looks at it again, sighs again disgruntledly, puts it into one of their pockets, and just nods her head at you. Thank you.
Immediately goes for a hug.
Yeah, Shotgun will, I guess, hug you. But they have their duster on, so you're not able to like really touch their overall skin. But they'll make a splatty sound when you hug them.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Rico does stick to your duster a little bit, but
Sweet G, did you toot again?
No, you would have heard me giggle. You know that.
Oh, that's right. I forget about your toot giggle. It's one of my favorites of yours, honestly.
Well, I can
You
do it
gotta
right now
smell
if
it.
you want it. Toot.
Oh. That and your maniacal cackle are tied for my favorite laugh of yours.
Oh, I have a lot of cackles. Which one do you want to hear? The maniacal one? Was that the one?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's it.
All right, I'm not going to remember that one later. We'll try again.
from the brim of Shotgun Rack's hat, you hear the tiniest little toot, followed by a tiny little cackle as your mimic, as your mimic baby.
Oh,
Yeah, as Throw Up tries to imitate you.
they grow up so fast.
But yes, you've been pointed towards Mother. You make your way back up the beach. There's like a little pavilion that's been set up, and inside there is this throne. It's a very ornate throne. And as you sort of gather inside the pavilion and look at it, all of the little baby mimics at this point scurry forward towards the throne and start like climbing all over it as if it's a jungle gym, and begin the mimic equivalent of like squealing and laughing as they're playing with each other on this thing. And then the throne begins to shift. A maw cracks open in the back of it. These eyes appear, and it's like, "Thank you so much for taking my little darlings out on an outing today. It's very kind of you. I hope you enjoyed your time here in Mimiclandia. You're welcome to stay for as long as you like."
Well, how did you lose them in the first place?
Oh, we didn't lose them. We need to send our babies out into the world so that they can learn to be mimics. They can't learn everything they need to learn here. We need them to interact with the world and gain new experiences and meet new people. And that's where you all came in. Before I forget, and there's like a drawer slides out of the bottom of the throne, and then a little pillow lifts out, and all of your trinkets are on the little pillow.
Shaka will immediately just walk up there, grab their little compass, give a very disgruntled whistle as they put it in their pocket, and then waddle back into line.
Through all this, your mimic friend is mimicking you. As you do your disgruntled walk forward, you can see like your little mimic buddy is like imitating you, imitating the walk, making the same noises. And Mother says, yes, see, this is what we need them to do. We need them to learn new experiences, meet new people. If they just learn from other mimics, they'll just spend all day turning into chests. And what fun is that?
Well,
I'll
you could have
take Rocco.
asked. Oh,
I'll take Rocco out of their little baby Bjorn, and I'll kiss him on the forehead and say,
Okay, be good. Practice your shooting, because that's an important skill to have. And Mother, I have a little baby Bjorn if you need Rocco to go to sleep. He really liked sleeping on Gore's back. Gore didn't like it so much, but Rocco really liked it. And thank you for letting us meet your babies. And I'm really gonna miss him. Okay, thanks.
and I reach in and I grab my little rock and scrub my eyes as I fall back in line.
Thanks.
Pull out a tissue for PJ.
Thanks, Shotgun Rack. I didn't think I was gonna get in touch this fast, but he's a good baby.
Rocco, you look over and you can see Rocco is like has their little bow and waves it at you, and you can see Rocco is like little tears are coming out of like all 7 eyes that you can see at the moment.
Good practice, Rocco. Good crying.
Sweet G, you were gonna say?
Now, Mother, how exactly did y'all come and swipe these items from us?
Oh, we didn't swipe them. We sort of swapped places.
Yeah, that's
little-
called a swipe.
I mean, technically, we didn't.
There's really
come
only
and-
2 letters different between swiped and swapped.
We didn't come and swipe them. I just sort of like transposed their position, as it were.
And now, why did you pick us 5 in particular?
I don't know. Doris said you seemed interesting.
Doris has
hangs
been
out.
watching us?
Yeah, not watching you specifically, but watching the people who come into that tavern. Doris
Is
hangs
Doris
out there a lot.
alive?
Yes, of course Doris is alive.
No, I asked if Doris is your wife. I figured Doris was alive.
Oh, I mean, we haven't put a name on anything. But we've known each other for quite some time.
Can I insight check this?
Yeah, of course.
Can I perception check, see if this throne has a ring on it somewhere?
I have a +4 to insight, so 22.
Okay. In the brief moment, this is the first time you see Mother flustered. In this moment, you get the sense that Doris would very much like to put a ring on it, and Mother has been the one who is dragging their pseudopod on the matter.
PJ leans in conspiratorially.
Take the plunge. Life is short. You deserve to be happy, and so does Doris. You deserve
Yeah.
each other.
Yes, well, thank you, dear.
You're not
Anyway,
going to take that advice now, are you? Come on. How can we help give the push? You know, we didn't come all the way out here to Mimiclandia just to give your kids back. Like, come on, give us something.
I mean, technically you did, but I mean, I appreciate the.
If you want to make it a moment, I could play some music. Sweet G could make some magical effects happening. We could. PJ is good with the nature and the florals.
Yeah, we
Can
could
we
probably
make
make some like vine flowers.
Shotgun could blow me up again.
That would
That
be
would
rather
be like
romantic.
fireworks.
I love how excited Shotgun is about that possibility. Well, tell you what, I needed to return you all to the inn anyway. You're welcome to have dinner with Doris and I, and if you want to enact your little plan, who am I to argue? But once again, thank you so very much for helping my little ones discover who they are. It's very important for people to be comfortable in their own skin, even if that skin can change shape. And with that, there's sort of like again, brightly colored lights, the throne and everything inside the pavilion sort of like it gets like very bright for a moment. And then when the lights dim back down, you are in the tavern. Except there is now this massive throne. All the little babies are still with you, so if you want, it's not quite goodbye yet, but you hang out. You can see as you're sort of like celebrating and it is now dinner time. As you're having dinner and celebrating with your little mimic friends, you do see sort of Doris and Mother off to the side having a tete-a-tete.
Tavern keeper,
hopefully-
have some champagne on standby. We might be having a celebration.
Yeah, the keeper is looking just a little stunned by all of this, but is just like, I mean, customer's a customer. Goes over and like, you hear them rooting around in the back. Like a champagne bucket is not something they normally have to pull out.
I sent them
No,
several
don't use
extra
that
gold.
bucket. Don't use that bucket.
Once the little baby mimics understand what you want, the five of them sort of like morph together and turn themselves into like a champagne bucket. So some of them
PJ
form
starts
like
crying again.
they form like three legs. One of them forms the trunk, and then the other one sort of stretches itself into a bucket shape. And
Big Voltron.
I'm so
they
proud.
they Voltron into a champagne bucket. The innkeeper comes back out holding, as you were afraid of, holding like, what looks like a feed bucket of some kind. And they were just going to dump ice and the champagne into that. And they're just like, when they see this nice, albeit fleshy, champagne bucket, they sort of like shrug, dump the ice into it, and then put the champagne bottle. The little baby mimics, the baby mimic who is the bucket, starts shivering a little bit, but otherwise they hold their shape. And it's a very romantic moment. And I think that's where we're going to end things. I hope you enjoyed your trip to Mimiclandia.
Shotgun never
Thank
named.
you.
Shotgun never named her baby. His baby.
I didn't. I feel like on the way out or in the middle of dinner, Shotgun would have shown their mimic one of the bullets in their gun so that they can learn how to make the shape. And we'll make a pew pew sound, and I'll name him Pew.
Yeah.
So that he can take-
as the thing's going on, it looks over at you and it's like, pew pew.
I'll do that thing that you do with kids where you just kind of like on the mouth, just like so become a very proud dad by the end of this.
It reaches up a pseudopod and does it back on your beak.
I promise I wasn't gonna cry. Shotgun is just.
I give Shotgun back their tissue.
Yeah.
It is gross.
They don't care. They just have eyes.
For the viewers at home that might want to pick this up, this was a very abbreviated look at coming out of Mimiclandia, because the actual adventure is much, much longer, and we had to play it within 3 hours. So I sort of hit some of the high points, but there's a lot more in there. So I highly recommend going out and grabbing a copy for yourselves and playing with your group at home.
It'll be coming out in July.
Awesome.
But before then, my friends, let us tell the people who we are and where they can find us. Let us start with Eli.
Oh, hi. Hello. My name is Eli. I was your fellow Cowboy Kenku shotgun rack. I am the resident ghost of Mayday Roleplay. We're an AP content creation team. We do a bunch of stuff from various amounts of actual plays and whatnot. We will be, you can find us at Mayday Roleplay, and separately you can find me at A Ghost of Eli. I do other stuff such as writing, content, and various other things for the TTRPG space. And yeah, come check us out next Saturday. We're going to be playing some more Daggerheart and some more fun stuff. So yeah, come hang out with us. Oh, popcorn. Trevor.
Damn it, I'm never ready. Hi. I'm Trevor, also known as Trevor Valle, also known as Tattoos and Bones, basically everywhere. The Hell site, formerly known as the Bird One and Blue Sky and all that. I'm a Hispanic content creator. I do mechanics and game testing for any system that you want to write or anything like that. And currently, every other Monday, I am playing Rasa, who is a traveling priest in -2 Charisma's Dead Collection, a Wild West inspired 5th edition game. Other than that, I may be at Gen Con and I may be at Dragon Con, so come up and say hi. Look for the hockey jerseys. And let's go to Lev.
Hello, I have been Lev, and I'll probably continue to be Lev. And I played PJ, your Tiefling Ranger. I'm also a fella over at Mayday Roleplay with our darling Eli. As they said, we are AP players, Delta Green, Vampire the Masquerade, Orpheus, a little bit of Daggerheart lately. We've been trying it all. I'm also a voice actor. You can hear me in some audio fiction podcasts and a couple of video games. Surprise, surprise. This was really fun. Thanks, guys. I'm really bad at all of these things when the outro things come, but thanks for having me. Support Trans Lifeline. Do the thing. I'm gonna popcorn over to Danny.
Hello, I have been Dan the entire time. You can find me at Dan_the_Baker wherever I want you to find me. I'm also on YouTube at Open Table Adventures. You can see me doing interviews with content creators. I make recipes for TTRPG content and a lot of other things. I'm also going to Gen Con. You can find me at Gen Con. And this has been such a good time. I'm so glad we got to raise some money for such an amazing organization. Thank you for having us, Jazz. And then Brent, since you're the last one.
Hi, my name is Brent. I'm known pretty much everywhere on the internet as Dorklord Canada. You can find pretty much everything that I'm up to at dorklordcanada.ca, but I'm a freelance TTRPG and speculative fiction editor. I run solo games on my own Twitch channel on Fridays and Saturdays because I have a fondness for solo TTRPGs. And you can also find me Sundays on the Exquisite Corpse Presents channel playing in a game, La Naissance de Reine, which is a Thirsty Sword Lesbians alternate Camelot game. And it is a huge amount of fun. You can come and watch me play Malcolm, the disaster demisexual. shapeshifter. So yeah.
And that
And
leaves me, and I promise y'all, I'm usually not a Cheeto. I just moved and I haven't figured out the lighting in this room that does not have an overhead light. Why do apartment complexes not put lights into bedrooms? It doesn't make sense. Put lights into bedrooms. Anyway, I want to give a big thank you to Brent for being our amazing DM, to Eli, Lev, Trevor, and Dan for joining. Y'all were so much fun to play with. Thank you, everyone, so much for helping us raise $515 for Trans Lifeline. That is absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of days left of Pride. I'm too gay to count them. I think there's 17. But I also don't know the trick on which month has what many, numbers.
Night 17 is correct.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gay, but apparently I'm not too gay that I can't count. That's a lie. I very much am. Anyway, like Britt was saying earlier, this is a really cool adventure that is going to be released on July 16th by Little Cord. They also are the makers of Mimicnomicon. This was called Coming Out of Mimiclandia. Get your hands on it if that sounds like something that is cool to you. I'm dropping a link into the chat right now for TTRPGs for Palestine. It is a really cool bundle on itch.io that has 643 different TTRPGs, supplements, and art packs worth like over $2,000 for a donation price of just $10 or more. You cannot get better bang for your buck in this economy. So if you like TTRPGs and if you like supporting people who are in need of support, please consider checking out that bundle as well as sharing it with your network. With all of that being said, this concludes our charity streams for the month of June. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and helping support Trans Lifeline. There are going to be so many more TTRPG charity streams supporting queer organizations, so please make sure you check them all out and support them. Does anyone have like a word of wisdom that your character wants to leave us with? I'm envisioning Rico. Not to put
The
you on the
looking
spot.
ball.
Looking at Winnie. If all the world is a stage, where does the audience sit?
Incredible. And we'll all ponder on that. See you later.